Hey guys, I wanted to do a little impromptu comparison between the Wurkkos HD01 and the Olight Arkfield Pro. And I initially, just the first thought that came to me when I got the HD01 was the Arkfield Pro, only because it's the only sort of slab rectangular style light that I have out there, but it does have some similarities as well. So let's go through the overall sort of design of the light first. Okay, so as you can see here, both of these lights, they do have that rectangular style design. Okay, Wurkkos have this black finish that is much more grippier, okay, than the Arkfield Pro, but overall the Arkfield Pro just feels a little bit better finish, and it does have some more intricate little details like this, like the button here on the side. You know, this feels a lot smoother having to switch in between the different modes. Here you've got the battery indicator, this sort of interesting battery indicator here on the side. So not to say that the HD01 isn't constructed well, because I think it is. It's actually quite well put together, and the buttons themselves, you know, Wurkkos are using metal buttons on here, and you do get the battery indicator just built into the buttons themselves. Okay, but yeah, you got one button basically to activate this little LED panel here on the side, which I'll talk about in a moment. Let's have a look at the LEDs. So speaking of which, you know, you've got a laser module here just hidden away right in the center, darker little spot there. Okay, and your laser module here on the HD01. Okay, but you know, you've got your white LEDs here. Okay, one thing that the HD01 does not have is a 365 nanometer UV light that you get on the Arkfield Pro. Okay, but on the HD01, you do get these LEDs here on the side. Okay, so these RGB LEDs here. Okay, and you can change that to pretty much whatever tint that you want, cool to warm. Okay, not only that, there's a few other modes in here as well that you can access, like that, like an alert mode. What else is there? You've got this waterfall mode, okay, and this water droplet mode here as well. Really cool little effects. Okay, you don't have any of that on the Arkfield Pro. Overall, the UI of the HD01 is a bit more complicated and does take some getting used to. You have to read through the manual, whereas with the Olight Arkfield Pro, I mean, it's just so simple. You've got 3 modes, okay, and all you do is just activate each mode like that. Okay, I mean, there's some lock features and stuff like that as well, but it's quite easy and intuitive. I didn't really have to pick up that manual even to figure it out. Now, in terms of overall performance, I do find that the HD01 produces a much throwier spot beam than the Arkfield Pro. The Arkfield Pro produces much more of a spilly sort of beam, which you'll see later in the beam shots. And of course, one thing I almost forgot to mention, you know, the Olight Arkfield Pro does come with this magnetic charging as well here in the back. It's Olight proprietary charging, makes it very easy just to plug in, connect that light to your computer. But in the same fashion, the HD01 has the usual USB-C port, just plug into your computer. Okay, no proprietary charging, which actually, for most purposes, I prefer. So there is a price difference between both of these lights. I think the Arkfield Pro is going to cost you at least twice as much as the HD01. Okay, keep in mind that, you know, the Arkfield Pro is the only one that has that UV 365 nanometer LED in there. So if you need that, you probably want to get that one. Okay, but the Arkfield Pro does not have those RGB modes. Not only that, there's a nice flood light mode here on the side that you can access. I didn't mention that. I didn't sort of mention that before. So I think that's really cool. I've not seen that on any flashlights really. This was the first one that I actually saw this feature on, and very useful. The fact that you can change it to whatever color you want or just use it as a strong floodlight makes it very, very unique. So let's cut through to the beam shots and see how both of these perform together. Alright, I'm going to compare the Olight Arkfield Pro with the Wurkkos HD01, and we'll get them both onto turbo first, and I'm going to show you the Arkfield Pro. Okay, so that's on 1, 2, 3. There we've got turbo. Alright, now let's get on the HD01 on turbo. Look at that. So if we compare them, Arkfield Pro and the Wurkkos HD01, overall the HD01 has superior throw. Okay, it's tinting those trees all the way out the back that the Arkfield Pro is not able to do. But I have to say, the Arkfield Pro produces significantly more spill. Okay, and I think that's just due to the design of the reflector, the TIR lens, rather than the actual amount of light produced. Okay. Just produce a lot more spill, distributes, I guess, the light that's in the middle, just pushes a little bit more out to the edges, unlike the Wurkkos. But yeah, one thing I definitely found is, you know, walking around out here in the dark, I do prefer a light that has that ability to pick up a bit more, you know, objects around the back. So just a little bit extra throw. So, you know, even after both of these are stepping down, you know, the Wurkkos here, as you can see, just with the defined hot spot in the center, still out throwing the Arkfield Pro. Can we reactivate? Let me try again. Reactivate turbo on both. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, and that's another thing, you know, with the Arkfield as well. It will not let me reactivate the turbo mode. I think, oh, that might be it actually. Yeah. Sometimes it won't let you when it gets too hot. Yeah, but both very capable flashlights. If you want the one that just throws a bit further, yeah, you've got the HD01. If you want a more balanced, floodier beam, Arkfield Pro is the one you want.